to say that due to technical difficulties, we are only recording 15 minutes of class today. Sorry, but it is the fourth day and people will be looking for this recording, so I need to tell them we had technical difficulties. Okay, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do this, so I'm just going to go. You're just going to have to send it in again. All right. Assignments, I'm going to go to hopefully pull one up. Okay, forget it. I'm going to go to the whiteboard and I'm just going to hit over some things that y'all need to be reviewing over. How about that? And because right now I don't think I'm going to get any help from Course Compass or whatever, or MyLabs Plus. So we have already went over the exponentials. The exponential laws, I'm going to go over them again. And that is the product rule, the quotient rule, and the power rule. And all three of those rules have to do with simplification. Product rule, if you have two terms with the same base and you are multiplying, you add the exponents. If you have two with the same base that you are dividing, you subtract the exponents. And if you have you have one exponent and raised to another exponent, you multiply at n times m. And the aesthetic rules are the quotient rule, not the quotient rule, the inverse rule. The inverse rule gets rid of a negative exponent. 1 over x to the negative n is equal to x to the n over 1, or x to the negative n over 1 is equal to 1 over x to the n. And then the inverse power rule says if you have x to the n over x to the m raised to the negative w power, you can flip what's on the inside and you get x to the m over x to the n raised to the w power. Now remember, this is a different animal than this. This has parentheses, so it's a little bit different. If you flip what's on the inside of parentheses, it's not going to change to the two signs. It's going to leave the signs the same, and it's going to flip these signs, the sign on the outside. So that is what we just went over during the technical difficulties. So for the online class and for people that are seeing this on YouTube, that's all we went over the first 15 minutes of class. You are impressed, aren't you? I have had no training on this. We've had it for 3 years. We were given the boards, not given any training, and everything I've learned myself. So anyway, there is the inverse rule. Reverse FOIL. Now remember, when you do the reverse FOIL, you've got to remember, okay? I don't know what happened there. The reverse FOIL when you do the reverse FOIL, you have to remember the FOIL method while you're doing it. Okay? So if I give you a problem like x squared plus 1x or plus x minus 6. Okay? So you don't need the 1x there, but you can take that out. Now, in order to do the reverse FOIL, you have to remember that the FOIL is with two sets of parentheses, and you have to do first, outer, inner, last. Remember? Now, the key to the reverse FOIL is the outside and the what? Inside. Because I can give you the multiples of x squared. Y'all cannot mess up the multiples of x squared. You can't mess up the multiples of 6. Because everybody in here knows that 1 times 6 is 6, and 2 times 3 is what? 6. So you can't mess those up unless you're non-sentient. Okay? But put the x here and put the x here. Let's go out here, 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. Now you know 1 times 6 is not going to help you. Because what's 6 plus 1?
7.
And what's 6 minus 1? So that's not going to help you because you need a 1 in the middle. So the only thing you can do is 2 and 3. So I put a 2 here and a 3 here. Doesn't matter where you put them. Because the 3 has to be what? Positive. And this means unlike. So if that's positive, this is, and you feel good about yourself. Okay? That's the reverse FOIL. Now, the closest thing to playing a musical instrument in mathematics is the reverse FOIL and the shortcuts. Okay? The reverse FOIL and the shortcuts. If you practice them, you're going to be okay. If you don't practice them, you're going to suck. And it's going to follow you all the way to differential equations. So you might as well learn them. So the reverse FOIL, that's pretty self-explanatory. That would be your second thing that you need to kind of remember. Reverse FOIL. The shortcuts. We went over those the other day, but we're going over it again. Shortcuts. 1. A plus B, quantity squared, is equal to A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. 2. A minus B, quantity squared, is equal to A squared minus 2AB plus B squared. 3. A squared minus B squared is equal to A plus B times A minus B. 4. A plus B to the third power is equal to A plus B times A squared minus AB plus B squared. And 5. A minus B quantity cubed is equal to A minus B times A squared plus AB plus B squared. Okay, so there's 3 things. 4th. The 4th thing you should remember is graphing. Graphing. Y is equal to mx plus b. M is equal to delta y over delta x, which is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. These are the 2 equations / formulas that you use to find things. Given 2 points on a line, given 2 points, that's the point-slope equation and the slope equation. The slope is m. The point-slope equation, you need to write that down because you may hear it. Point-slope equation. And there's 3 methods of graphing. There's the chart plot method, which y is by itself. You pick 5 points. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. You plug and chug and you get your y. That's one method. The second method is the intercept method. Intercept method, you have you put your x is 0, that's the y-intercept. Y is 0, that's the x-intercept. You plug and chug, so 2x plus 3y is equal to 6. The 0 will X this out, so that leaves 3y is equal to 6, y is equal to 2. And you put that 2 right there. 2x plus 3y is equal to 6. That 0 takes that 3y out. You get 2x is equal to 6, x is equal to 3. And that's the intercept method. And then the last method is called building the line using the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, let me move this over a little bit. Oops, sorry. It's probably not going to let me do it. I didn't think so. Did the whole thing. Nope. That ain't going to work. Okay, so I'm going to just have to squeeze it in over here. Method 3 is called using graph using the slope and y-intercept. You find the slope. M is equal to 2 over 1. And you graph the y-intercept. And you build the line, go up 2, go over 1, go up 2, and build the line. Of course, I'm going to go over these whenever y'all send them. Okay? All right, so there's 4 things right there that the review covers. What time you got? Huh? Okay, 9:55. I got what? 5 minutes? Something like that. What time's class over? 10. All right, so that's 4 things. I'm going to go ahead and start the 5th thing, which is domain and range. So let's go ahead and talk about domain and range. And the reason I'm doing this, I figure 15 minutes, this is better than going through problems, which I haven't got right now. So, domain. Well, let's just draw an ice machine. And some of y'all may not know what an ice machine looks like. I'll try to draw an ice machine, but it's not working very well. I'll just forget it. There. Okay. Some of y'all have never seen an ice machine like this before, but they used to be in the that don't look right. That don't look right at all. Just give me a second. Okay, I suck at it, but that's an ice machine. Okay, door plops up. This is the door right here. Y'all may have seen them. You see them at church social halls. You see them at places where people eat. You open the door and you scoop ice out of them. All right. So, in order for the ice machine to work, what do you got to have coming into it? H2O. Exactly. And then what comes out of it is ice. Question I want to ask you, if I give, let's say, I know none of y'all know what a funnel looks like. Anyway, funnel, let's say I cut off the water supply and I put a funnel up there. Okay? And when I put a funnel up there, I pour in 5 gallons of cherry Kool-Aid. What am I going to get?
Cherry Kool-Aid.
I'm going to get a 5-gallon bucket full of what? Cherry ice cubes. Okay? What if I put 5 gallons of grape Kool-Aid in? I'll get 5 gallons of, so whatever I put in, I'm going to what? This is your domain. And domain is usually our what function? And these are, what's the range in terms of? So, which one depends on what? Can we have ice cubes without water? So what is the water? It's the independent. And which one depends? Okay? And of course, this is going to be your function. This is going to be your 2x plus 3, or whatever, x squared minus 6, or x to the third plus 4. Okay, there's your ice machines right there. So, if I ask you what your domain and range is, you have to figure it out. But remember, if your function is x to the first, x to the second, x to the third, x to the fourth, and so on, your range is going to be all real numbers. I mean, your domain is going to be all real numbers because you can plug anything into those. The only time you need to worry about the domain is with a radical to the even exponent or even index, or a what? A rational, meaning a fraction with a variable. That's the only time that the domain is affected. Okay. And everybody's doing their convulsions, so that means it must be time for me to go. Okay, I'm sorry we only had 15 minutes for everybody, but what do? You do the best you can. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off the recording, the 15-minute recording, and I'm going to take the roll.